Welcome back to Storytelling Recap. Today, we are going to talk about a story of a former businesswoman who went from grace to grass. And after an abusive relationship, now she is divorced to her husband due to this toxicity. Watch till the end of this video to understand what reality transpired. Her shocking story will shine a light to young women who are in a hurry to get in relationships with men they don't even know about. Before we start, please subscribe to Storytelling Recap. In Kenya, there have been increased cases of violence against women and, more shockingly, the toxic relationships in Kenya. Cate has painfully narrated how she has suffered in the hands of her husband in a marriage of 18 years. In an interview with Jeremy, she narrated how abusive he was to an extent of pulling out her hair, leaving her front part of the head bald. He went ahead and took away her multi-million business and left her with nothing. Cate got married to the love of her life, who she was staying with in Nairobi, where she was working. At first, the marriage was good. Immediately after delivering her firstborn child, her husband started having extramarital affairs. He could have a relationship with the single ladies in the neighborhood. Cate noticed it and asked him what was happening, but he could beat her up. Cate's previous job was related to tourism. She decided to start her own. The business was doing so well such that her husband and his sisters became part of the crucial decision makers there. Her husband and the sister would steal from her. They managed to buy vans, but her husband would use them to take loans without Cate's consent and use the money. Her husband was jealous since her business thrived so well. He started having affairs without hiding. The husband threatened to kill her with their daughter if she walked out of their marriage. Her husband would not allow her to drive herself to work, and whenever he did that, he would send armed men to monitor her. She reported to police stations, but they couldn't help her. Her husband would start beating her up, but she had no means of defending herself because she feared him, for he has a gigantic body. There was a situation when her husband would receive messages from women who would ask him to head to her house and fix her sink, but her husband never fixed anything in the house but asked for assistance from experts. But this day, the husband went to the neighbor's house and they closed the door for a long time. She got curious and went on to see what was happening. She saw like it was a soap opera when they were candidly facing each other in a seductive way, but she decided to remain anonymous, for there was nothing she would do about the situation. That's when here hell broke loose. Her husband took a huge loan, and that would be compensated by the cars of the company she was running. She claims never to have seen the money that her husband had been loaned to her doing anything in the house needs to her or her child. Even at her own business, she had no rights to handle money. All the money and all her trips was handled by her husband, and all she would do is to sit down and work. This prompted her to take the report to the authorities, but her husband would bribe the police in order to be able to take her multi-million business. He managed to take the business, which prompted Cate to go to court, but that was the beginning of her trouble because armed men would follow her every day, even when walking, threatening her to drop the case. Whenever she hired a lawyer to represent her, the lawyer would start to receive threats from her husband. He bribed others to stop representing her in court. One day when the husband went to pick her at work, she decided to ask him why he was doing all that to her. Cate had installed dreadlocks. He pulled her hair and dropped it down. Cate was in pain as blood was coming out of her head when she started screaming for help, and luckily, the people nearby came for her rescue. She was taken to police station, then to hospital. After being treated, she went back to police station to follow the case, but the police had already been bribed and she was told there was no case. She managed to get divorce papers, but her husband still threatens her by paying men to intimidate her. She regrets ignoring red flags at first. Cate now claims that her husband have stolen the money she had in some questionable ways, that even her girl child, who passed very well, have no means to go to the university. Cate has been threatened before, and now she is scared of her life. She have asked the ones involved to leave her alone, and the property she had, she would not follow them, for she needs peace. She has additionally asked for a job opportunity from well-wishers and start her life with her child over again. Thank you for watching this interesting video. Let me know what you think about this story of Cate in the comment section below. Are you in an abusive relationship yourself? Let us know. If you learned something, like this video and subscribe so that you shall not miss videos like this in the future. Also, watch these other videos. I promise you will love them. Remember, successful people look like you, and all you need in life, God has it. Just ask Him for it and it shall be given to you. See you in the next video. Subscribe.